Well, hello everyone. It's been ages. Sorry that I couldn't stream in the past 2 weeks. I got back from my holiday, which wasn't as smooth and relaxing as I hoped that it was going to be. And then there were some things I had to deal with at home, so it wasn't really a good atmosphere for streaming and paying attention to you guys. But we are here now. And today I will level my ninja with trust. So I will tell you a bit about why I like using the trust system and why I suggest you to use it as well. And also give you a few tips and tricks on what to pay attention to when you are playing a melee job. I'm not the best melee player, but I played a lot of ninja in the past year and really started to like it, and it felt nice when I figured out what to do on it and how to do things properly. So it's been definitely an adventure for me. And for example, if you ask me about monk, I will throw my gloves in because I have no idea how to play monk. But I think I'm fairly okay with ninja. Haven't really touched the other melees in a while, so we will see how that will go. I did try Viper, and that's a fun job as well to play. Got that one up to level 100 already, so probably I will do some more content on it when I've finished leveling up all my jobs. But I think still Ninja is my favorite melee DPS. So let's have a look and let's go do some trust dungeons. I'm level 95, but if you are worried about Dawntrail content, we are not going into Dawntrail dungeons just yet. This is not going to be the most effective leveling for my ninja, but what I also want to do is to level up my trusts, and I haven't leveled them up from Endwalker yet. So as you can see, they are like level 84, 83. So that's where we will start. Go into some Endwalker dungeons, get them up quickly to that Dawntrail level, and then I can spend some more time with them with the jobs which I'm not that comfortable on, because that's one of the reasons why I like using the trust. The obvious reason is if you are a DPS and you don't have queue for a dungeon, then you can just take these guys and not having to stand around and wait for more people to come. But the other reason is why I like them: when I'm relearning a job or playing a completely new job and I'm not that comfortable on it, I don't necessarily want to go into a dungeon with people and be the nuance who is dying to every mechanics or not doing enough damage. When I go alone and just bring the NPCs, dungeon run will take a bit longer because these guys can't do AoE damage, so they will just use single target, but they are quite good at doing the mechanics. So I can stop at any time, go at my own pace, rearrange my hotbar, read what a skill does. That's a comfort what you don't get when you are going with people, unless they are like from your FC or your friends and they are willing to stop at every corner to let you adjust. But with them, I can just go and do a dungeon as many times as I want to, stop as many times as I have to. And also it's very good when you are learning a dungeon. So I think we all have a dungeon where we are not very comfortable with the mechanics and have no idea what is happening. But if you go with them and you pay attention what they are doing, then that's really good, because they are programmed in a way that they will first and foremost focus on the mechanics. You will see them completely stop doing any damage Actually, one time Urianger just let me die because he was focusing on the mechanics and wasn't healing me, who I was trying to put in a few more GCDs and stood in something and then died, and he just couldn't be bothered. He left me there. So if you just pay attention to them, where they go, and watch the mechanics, then most likely you will be able to figure out what is going on and learn that mechanics with their help. Tancred especially seems to be good at mechanics, so usually I follow him around if I'm unsure about something. A few of them, like Alize, sometimes will deliberately mess up something to show you what happens if you mess it up. So we will go to the Tower of Babel. Might need to do 2 runs on it, we'll see. Tancred might got up to level 85, but I don't think that the rest of them will. So, but I didn't want to bring Urianger, I wanted to bring Ra. Yes, we are taking my boy. Not going into a dungeon without my boy, sorry. Alrighty. Let's see. First of all, food. It's extra damage and extra HP and extra XP. And actually I also have an XP boost scroll, so I will use that because from my FC buffs I only get the level 2 and the scroll is giving the level 3 buff. This is a big pack of monsters, so you definitely want to use your AoE damage. And what I put down is something but a lot of people don't know what it is. This puddle, this stone sand puddle, that's the ninja's AoE damage over time. And when people don't know what it is, they get scared of it and pull the mobs out of it. So if you see a ninja crying, it's because they just put that one down and the tank ran away with the mobs. So please, please, please don't do that. Ninjas won't be happy. And this skill is only useful on a pack of monsters if they will be standing in it for the entire duration of the skill. So you don't want to use it on single target. I'm not necessarily using my attacks in the best way, like I'm missing out on skills, but I also need to focus on talking. And I don't know who said that apparently ladies are good at multitasking. I'm definitely not. So it's either doing my rotation properly or talking to you guys. But it's fine. We will just focus on one area of the skills and how to use them at one time anyway. I think Tancred and Grahar can handle double pulls, so if the next group is close enough, you can try to pull them the second group, but if they are not close, then it's actually just faster to get that group done wherever they are. Okay, now I will do this as I'm supposed to. This is a skill where I need to stand and can't move. If I move, it cancels my skill out, but that's what I was supposed to be using to put this down. There are some other skills like the ninja's puddle. For example, Summoner also has an AoE damage from the Garuda summon. So if you see a green wind looking puddle, on the floor. That's also a friendly one, and please don't pull the mobs out of it. Okay, I was being a bit naughty because I wanted to see if they will hit me enough that my arm's length would trigger and slow them down, but not really, so couldn't help Tancred with that. But he's a big boy, he will manage. Anyway, these are very chill and casual streams on Mondays. So if you have any questions, what you ever wanted to ask from a mentor, just you didn't have the chance or you were scared to, then this is your chance now. No stupid questions, there's only stupid ways to die, as my mentor used to say. It's quite hard when you are in a dungeon with people and they are rushing and you want to type in something, especially when you are on console and it's a lot harder to type there, so it's not really convenient all the time to ask someone. Alrighty, so Tancred is very kindly showing us how you're supposed to be tanking in a dungeon, or like in any duty really, because he went straight away to the front to turn the boss away from the party, which is good for multiple reasons. So the tank busters, if they are AoE damaged like a cone, they will only hit him and not us. And be nice and do the mechanics and don't bleed. And also that way the mob was showing its backside, so it was easier for me to hit my positioners. Now he's not really doing it that great, because if I was tanking this, I would be pulling this mob to the middle, but he just decided to wait for it until it went back on its own. Which is fair enough, I guess. Sometimes that's better to just wait if the mob is going to go back. But otherwise, I'm trying to pull the mobs out of the wall if I'm tanking, so the melee DPS can hit their positioners. And that's probably the hard part of being a melee, that you need to pay attention to where you are hitting the mobs from. We used to have a lot more positioners than we have right now, so it got a bit more easier, because most of the jobs only have like 2 skills maybe, where you need to pay attention where you are hitting from. I'm just trying to do somewhat decent rotation. So you see this circle around the boss, and there is the open area at the back. If you have a skill which is supposed to be used from the back, that's where you want to be hitting the boss, at the open space at the back. The other position of what we have is the flank, so like side hit. It's not just exactly the side, like imagine if that circle was cut into 4 bits, and I messed up the mechanics because I was talking. Thanks, Graha, for the heals. So yeah, like imagine that this circle here is the boss's hitbox, and you have from here up to here as the back. So if you hit there, that will be your back attack, and then this part here will be the side, Usually the best thing to do is to stand around here where the circle opens up, because this way all you have to do is take one step and you are already hitting your other positional without having to run around the boss, especially if it has such a big hitbox like this one. So if I used my back hitting skill here, that would be fine, and then I move over here and use my side hitting skill there. This boss was very hard to hit the positionals on because he was moving around a lot and turning. But with a more stationary boss, it's a lot easier. But in those occasions when you can't hit your positionals, that's when you use this skill here, True North. Because if you use this, it will ignore all the positionals, so you can use all your skills from any directions. And sometimes people say like they don't care about the positionals because it's just a little bit more damage, it doesn't matter. In some cases it will matter, because it can be that your skill will only proc and give you an follow-up ability, or like fill up your gauge if you hit the right positional. Someone, for example, was asking me one day why they can't hit a certain skill on Samurai, like the skill never comes active. And I don't really play Samurai, so I had to look into that, and it took me a while to realize, only when I saw them practicing on a dummy, that they were not hitting the positionals, so the skill would never come active because the positional requirement was missing. So it's not just a little bit of extra damage, it's quite important. If it's a skill which just gives you extra damage, it's usually still better to use it on cooldown, so as soon as your next GCD is available, at the wrong position, than running around to find your correct position, because the main thing what you need to do to improve your damage is to always press your skills. So as soon as you can hit the next GCD to have a bigger uptime, and it will improve your damage a lot. It makes truly a difference if you use your skills rather than use them properly but with big gaps in between. Okay, so now on this one I can show you. Now I'm hitting the back, and it made me move to the side anyway, so I hit the side there. And that's another thing with the melee DPS, that it helps a lot if you know the fight and know when the enemies are turning and forcing you to move from behind, because it might be that you will be at the enemy's side without really moving that much, and you can play around with your skills in that way. Use the ones which require the side positional when you are forced to go to the boss's side anyway. Okay, I always get lost here which way we go. No more mobs around, so it's just these three guys. No big pools for me. I often see from either inexperienced or ignorant melee players that they don't move out from the AoE damage and the healer will have to heal them extra. Please don't be that person. Unless it's like a mistake or like really you must grid one GCD because otherwise you are missing out on a lot of damage from your rotation or miss a proc. Please try to move out from the AoEs. Your healers will thank you for it. As a healer, I often give my commendation to a DPS who was the less trouble in the party. And there are some DPS who are notorious of staying in damage for greeding some uptime. Black Mage is one of them because they don't like to move that much. Samurai is another one because they think that, oh, I'm the best DPS here, so I don't have to. I mess this up. See, I can't do my rotation if I'm talking, so either listen to what I'm saying or watch what I'm doing, but the two of them is not going to happen. So there are a few DPS who are notorious at staying in AoEs, Black Mage and Samurai as well. So if one of these is being very great at doing big damage and still not ignoring the mechanics and giving me a easy time as a healer, then they will get my commendation usually. Be nice to your healers, guys. Just like tanks, please be nice to your melee DPS and try to make their life easier by not spinning them around and such. Trying to do somewhat decent rotation here, but it doesn't always work. See, I wasn't really looking this time where I was meant to be going, I just looked where the NPCs were going. This also works when you are playing with other players, that some of them will move quite early to the next safe spot and you can follow them, but this doesn't happen all the time. So often for some very quick mechanics it will be late if you just follow someone when they did it. So they are doing here another good thing which you are supposed to be doing at a lot of mechanics actually. Why did I get Penny? I'm silly. I was not supposed to get many, never mind. So they were stacked together and running together when they were fox. And they did that because at this part you will drop an AoE underneath you. So if you do that stacked and going in a group with the other players, then the whole arena is not going to be covered in that orange stuff on the floor, and it will be a lot easier then to find a safe spot. This is not that important in dungeons where it's an easier content and you have a lot of space, but when you want to do higher end content like trials, raids, and especially extreme trials and savage raids, you will see that unless you have to spread for a mechanics, the whole party will be usually stacked together. And that's because of these types of mechanics where you will drop a puddle underneath and it's just easier for everyone if you are stacked. Drop that stuff on the same area and then move out of it. Otherwise you would be easily covering the whole arena in death zone. Now here we will have a look how our guy Tancred can handle 2 pulls, because I will bring him some extra mobs from down there. If you hit them from up here, they are coming up. Tancred went to get them. And I don't know how he's doing this dungeon, but often he's not standing at an ideal position. Like, I did this the other day and I was looking at him, why are you standing there? Yeah, also Graha like just run to the other side when there was safe spot here next to him. So I think they are a bit interestingly programmed here. So they have specific safe spots where they are programmed to run to, and they are not necessarily going to where a real player would be going for the safe zone. So probably on the next part I'm not going to pull extra for him and just see how he handles that bit. Also, I'm actually surprised that Ishtola haven't used the limit break yet, because she's very jumpy on the limit break. Okay, now it will be good and I will let Tancred go at his own pace. Why he brings them to this corner, I have no idea. Maybe he knows something what I don't. Because see, it just... So this is what you're not supposed to be doing as a tank. Don't pull them out of the ninja paddle, please. Tancred, you are not very melee friendly, you know. And he like run across the entire arena for a safe spot. Don't know why he did that. He's very strangely programmed here. Thought that he's going to run all the way across again. Like, there's space at the edges, and usually when I'm tanking these, I just bring them here. So there's enough spot for everyone. No, he had to do this the wrong way, the hard way. Okay, where is he going to run to this time? I'm curious now. I didn't even dare to put down my paddle because it's no point if he's going to drag them out of it. I think we don't have a thing above us, so this platform is like safe everywhere. Didn't know that, because I usually drag them up to the top one. Yeah, there was no thing above us here, so this platform was safe as it was. Okay. Okay, and if you see a circle like this, where it's a full circle, so you can't see the boss's back here, but the circle goes all the way around, and at the front this arrow is inside, not sticking out, it means that he doesn't have positionals. So you can hit from anywhere, and your skills will be hitting the positional as intended. Usually this happens with the bosses where you can't get to them, so when they are outside of the platform. And other thing, what let me tell you after this one. Yeah, so here we had to stretch the tethers. Whenever you see these pinkish tethers with these spiky things on them, it means that you need to run away from where you are tethered to and stretch the tether out. Otherwise you will get hit quite big. I'm going to the second phase now. We'll see if I get the other mechanics I can show you in this dungeon, which people sometimes don't know what to do with. Okay, this one is easy, we can go to melee range. They will hit from one side and then they hit from the other side. Now we move out. Am I going to get the mechanics or not? Yes, I'm getting it. I will do it the cheeky melee way. So this is following me around. Ow! I wasn't running fast enough. As I dodged it will drop the orange circle underneath. And once it dropped, you need to run because it's following you around. Just, I wanted to show something on it, but I couldn't. Because Tancred was in the way. What I was trying to do there is to still stay in melee range and keep hitting the boss. So I wanted to stay in front of the boss and run across the platform. But now we will do it another way. Okay, let's try this again. No one saw the first try, nothing happened. Okay, that's good. It would be nice if I would be hitting all my buttons. Yeah, I don't expect perfect rotation from me today. I can tell you exactly what not to do and then I will do that thing, so that's one thing to get used to if you are coming to these sessions. I will mess up a lot. So we stretch the spiky thing. I usually go to one of the corners here, but what they are showing is that you can just go to the middle and you are fine there. Okay, let's try this second phase again. Maybe this time without dying. I will do the trick now what I'm usually doing on Ninja. I almost missed moving out from the second bit, but was still in time. I had to sacrifice some damage to Graha to show you that bit. But usually this is how I do this. Just go to the back, wait until the first puddle drops, and then teleport back to the front. And that way I can just keep hitting the boss without having to run around. But Graha decided to stand in the way. Okay. Question is, can I beat Istola to the limit break? Or is she going to steal it? It's mine. I managed. She's usually so fast on getting the limit break. But I think Alice is even faster. She's like absolutely mad when she sees the limit break.
Allow me.
I think we will have to come another round in this dungeon. Okay, so I got a level up, and Tancred and Graha got level up to 85, which means they are good to go to the next dungeon. And Istola got to 84. Nice. So we will come another round into this dungeon. Should I tank it and show you how quickly this can be done by tanking, or should we stick to DPS? The sensible thing would be to stick to DPS, because I constantly get to level my healers and tanks when I'm doing roulettes with the FC. So probably we will stick to my horrible ninja playing. But let's see who we can swap out. It would be kind of nice to get Istola to level 85 so she can come with us to the next dungeon. Uh, let's see how Graha tanks this dungeon, because maybe he won't do the annoying thing what Tancred did.
I stand ever ready.
So let's bring Urianger and give him some XP as well, and we will get Graha to tank. Okay, I will refresh my food because that's almost running out. Alrighty, let's go. Where I can, I will try to bring 2 groups for them. But I want to see now if Graha is tanking that pack the same way as Tancred did. Yes, that was very strange that he was standing at places where you definitely shouldn't be standing. And I don't know if all of them are programmed that way to stand there, or was it just his spot? Well, Ishtra is doing the typical black mage thing, and she's standing in something because she was casting. Definitely, if I don't mess up the last boss, we will do this faster than we did the previous run. But like I said, it's either paying attention to what I'm doing or talking. And this pack I'm not going to drag up the stairs because no point doing that. The other group is just too far, so it's better to stay here. I'm running up the stairs first, so they are aggroing on me straight away, but it's a bit tricky with the thrust to get them actually move and pull. Sometimes they are just standing there and you can't get them to actually come. So I had to go ahead, but otherwise please don't pull ahead of the tank. Just these are NPCs, so they need a little nudge that yes, you are actually ready for that pull, and they are not going to run off without you. Okay, let's find this guy again. Okay, so now I hit the side and then I just moved here, but he keeps turning, so I can't really show you decent positioning on this boss because he makes me dance anyway. So it's interesting, you could see it on Ishtara now that even though she was perfectly fine to keep casting because she was already in position, she just stopped when the mechanics was going on. And Urianshe was again doing a mistake here, what people tend to do, that you don't bring the stack marker close enough. Which is not nice because your tank and melees can't keep the uptime yet. So if you get a stack marker and you are away somewhere out in Narnia, then please try to bring that stack marker a little bit closer. Okay. Where Istra is standing now, that was fine because I was still under the stack marker and I could hit the boss. This guy really likes us to move around and dance around him. And now he's standing close enough so we can actually hit the boss from here. But on the first one he was a bit standing outside. Oh come on guys, I don't want to do these mechanics. It looks like that I will have to. And this is why you keep casting as much as you can, because if we were here with players and not with NPCs who stop casting whenever a mechanics happens, then we would have killed that boss a lot faster. So if you need to stop to safely do a mechanics, then please stop. Because if you die, that will be a bigger DPS loss than stopping for a few GCDs. But if you can, then just keep attacking. Try to find a position where you are safe, everyone else is safe, and you can keep attacking there. If Istora levels up from this one as well, that will be nice because then we can go to the next dungeon.
Allow me.
I think she should level up because the guys got quite big XP from the previous run. I can do 2 runs of the same dungeon, but probably not farm it all day. That's just not nice. And I'm not in a hurry to level these guys up, but they come in handy when I want to practice something. So if she levels up and we get the next dungeon, then we can go one more round in that next dungeon. If not, then we will see if there's anything interesting going on in Party Finder where they might need some help, or I can jump into a few roulettes. I actually need like 1 trial on my Astro to level her up to 100, so we might be doing a trial roulette to close this day off with. Okay, come on girl, bring them or I will. Good boy. And so I'm lucky because my AoE is around me. This one is not, and this one was actually showing. I will show you again. So if I hit this one, that guy there still got attacked, but the furthest away didn't get from the damage. So when you are tanking, also pay attention to pulling the mobs close to each other, because your casters or any DPS really which has an AoE which is bound to a target and hits around that target, or like dragoons with their line AoEs, if the mobs are not close enough to each other, then they won't be hitting all the targets. So try to pack them up nicely.
Make ready.
And yes, I keep messing up my opener because I don't have my damage boost hit in time. And this guy keeps turning around out, so I still can't show you properly how to hit the positioners. Time to get me. So if you want to be cheeky here, then you can actually change back to big before the second line of them goes off,
Hold still.
because when you are mini, you are taking bigger damage and you are dealing less damage. So what veteran players are doing here, and it often confuses the newbies because they have no idea what's happening. You wait until the last moment before the first chakrams go off, you turn into mini, then you turn back for a few GCDs, and then you turn mini again before the second line goes off, just to get that little bit of extra DPS in. Okay, now we will do what these guys are doing. So I will follow them, and we are all sticking to one position and dropping these AoEs on top of each other, so the whole area is not covered in in orange.
Hold still.
I'm surprised that they actually kept attacking during these mechanics and not just stood there. Okay, time for the double pulse, and let's see if Grahatan can tank it and Urianger will heal it. Because if it was me tanking, you can bet that Urianger would let me die. So I will do the trick again and I will pull the extra group up and we will see how Graha can handle that. Okay, my boy, get ready. Hopefully he's going to stop here because we are perfectly fine here. And Graha, take the aggro off me, please. Yeah, he's standing at an absolutely fine location. I think Tancred just wanted to play it dangerously. Because this where we are standing now, this is where I would be tanking it. Okay, let's put down another puddle because these are dying a bit slowly. Well, not that slowly, but okay. We will try the double group again. I put my shield on this time. One of them is eating Urianger. One of them just keeps eating Urianger. Yeah, in other dungeons it's a lot easier to double pull because you can stack them up properly. Urianger is really struggling to heal this up. Graha was having no trouble when I made Tancred do the double pulls, but Urianger is not up for the task and I can't blame him for it because I would be the same if I had to heal this with an Astro. I'm pretty sure that Graha was using his clemency heals here. Oh no. Sorry boys. We just put them through a lot of pressure. For a little bit of time saving here. Okay, let's go. Are you going to pull it? Come on. Go. See, you need to nudge them. Yeah, if you're not pulling, I will pull. Fine. See, I'm trying to be the nice DPS and then he's just not pulling the boss. Oriange, you are not going to be fine there. Or, yes? Yeah, he was actually fine, okay. I thought we were already in the second phase where it's only one safe spot. Let's go away. It's interesting how this attack here is designed to kind of give you one damage to show you how big it will hit if you stay inside it.
Hold still.
Maybe now I will manage to do an almost good opener. Oh, I'm not getting damage now. See, so this is what I was trying to do. That you go just in line in front of the boss and then you can keep damaging. But if you looked at them, they were also running straight to the back and only damaging after. So unless you are hitting your buttons very fast, probably you can't just go slowly and hit it. You actually have to move with a pace. Okay. Place your bets again. Can I steal the limit break from Ishtola? I will definitely try.
Hold still.
She's not that eager on the limit break today. Okay, we are on the right side, which is good.
Allow me. Hold still. Together we shall overcome this.
These spreads are another interesting mechanics with them because they have pre-programmed slots where to go. So even if it's not logical for one of them to move, for example, Graha who's tanking, he should just stay wherever he is and keep tanking the boss, and everyone else will adjust. They are programmed to go a specific spot. So in one of the Invoker trials, Graha almost murdered me because I was trying to run away far as a DPS, a ranged DPS, and he kept running after me as a paladin. So it's usually best to wait until they move in a certain direction, and then you will see where there will be a safe spot left for you. Okay, so Ishtola did get to level 85, which is nice, and Graha is already level 86. So let's do one more dungeon then with them, which will be, if I would open the right menu, there we go, trust. So let's go to Vansapati, and yeah, I know, become being Uriange. We will bring Tancred to tank,
I stand ever ready.
and we are bringing Graha. Yeah, the two guys who can tank, they will be usually used quite often because you have more NPCs than you can put into right two parties, so eventually you just have to bring characters who are higher level than the dungeon, but it is what it is. Okay, no, my gear is still fine, thank you for the reminder. I do like this dungeon, this has a very nice vibe. And I like these open area dungeons. Don't like to get locked in a mine or something. Again, normally if this was me tanking, I would just keep running with them, but can't really pull them with me because Tancred is just not going to come until the NPCs appear, so it's no point at some places. Where I can, I will try. But if next time I have to pull instead of them, I will try use arm's length again to slow them down. And yeah, speaking of arm's length, the other thing that I started to tell you about that one mechanics, but then had to focus on the mechanics and I don't think I ever finished it, is feint. So this is what every melee DPS has, and it's a mitigation, higher mitigation against physical attacks, but it also mitigates against magical attacks. You have a twin ability for this for every caster, which is called Adult, and that one has higher mitigation for magical attacks and the lower mitigation for physical attacks. In high-end content, these are like mandatory to use. So when you are doing a savage raid and you are planning out the mitigations, how to use them throughout the fight, if the DPS wouldn't be using these mitigations, the healers would struggle a lot. So if you really want to learn your job, and especially if you want to get to high-end content, it's good if you start using these early in the game as soon as you get them. So feint, this unlocks at level 22, and actually it's quite useful there because on such low levels a lot of tanks are missing their stronger mitigations, And healers also don't have that many heals. So if you start using these and help out your party with some extra mitigation, that's really great. So when we get to the boss, I will show you usually how I'm using these. Istela is being the typical black mage, they're being as far away as she can be. So if the... and it's like, I can't even say that it's wrong, because she's at a safe distance where she doesn't have to move if these guys cast like a big AoE damage. And then she just teleported to the party, which you can do as a black mage. Okay, off you go, Tancred. No. Okay, good. At least my arm strength worked on that one guy. And I'm not going to put my paddle down because these are just two mobs. Probably I should have run ahead and tried to drag these to Tancred, but I was a bit reluctant to do that. Oh, and I wasn't paying attention if Ishtra was standing at the right spot or she had to move. Damn. Okay, so in later content, I'm not sure how it was in Stormblood, but definitely since Shadowbringers, fights usually have a similar pattern. So each fight will start with an AoE damage, and after that you usually get a tank buster. So for this I used my feint. This was actually a magical damage because there was the little sign for magical damage there, but still we got some mitigation out. So I wanted to try and stay there because sometimes there is a safe spot in melee range. But not this time. And what Tancred did here was fine because he didn't drag the mob that much back to the middle, but he kept it in one direction. So he wasn't spinning it around, and that made it quite easy for me. Now I'm using this feint on the tank buster because it was a bigger mitigation for Tancred than if I used it on the party, since that was a magical damage. Okay, I'm staying here, And that was another good example because I often see people with these spread markers trying to spread that much that no bit of the circle is covering the other player's circle, and you don't need to move that much. So it's fine for these circles to overlap. But so yeah, it's fine for the circles to overlap. The only thing you need to pay attention to is to not have your circle over another player's head, because then they will get the double damage. But if it's just the two circles overlapping, then you are absolutely fine. And as a tank especially, but also as a melee, you should try to stay still close to the mob and use that time to keep doing damage. And the healers and ranged players should ideally go outside and a bit further away. Of course, this is not going to happen all the time, like sometimes you can't, and sometimes a healer needs to stay close to be able to heal everyone, or red mage for example is in their melee phase and they also want to keep uptime on the boss. But really the general idea is don't run further away than you have to. This dungeon is sad. I like this dungeon, but it's sad. Both these guys here and also the last boss. Probably I will need to refresh my food because we are not going to finish in 8 minutes. So when we are done with this pack, I will refresh the food. In raids where you just have a single enemy, it's a lot easier to practice your rotation because you start the fight and that's the only enemy you need to care about. In dungeons it can be a bit tricky to decide if you should be using like your buffs and burst on that pack or keep it for the boss. Because anyway you are moving between packs. Okay, Tancred, I'm bringing you more mobs, I'm sorry. There we go. I will slow these guns down for you, but you are going to tank this big pack. So usually in dungeons, if I want to practice the open air, and like proper rotation, I will keep my big buffs and cooldowns when we are getting closer to the boss to use it on the boss. But if I'm already playing with a job I'm confident in, I will just use my uh, buffs on cooldown as well and use them on a pack, even if it's a little bit of DPS loss, because for example I can't hit them all the way through the buff because they will die sooner. Still, it feels better to not sit on a skill but actually use it when it becomes available. But at the beginning, when I wanted to practice, I just kept my big cooldowns for the boss and tried to do my rotation there. As a tank, you usually have to use all your cooldowns because every mitigation is important. As healer, it's an interesting one because on some healers you will use pretty much your entire toolkit, and on other healers you will notice that some skills are just like the emergency buttons. It was funny when someone asked me how to play Scholar and like how to do big shields and all that stuff. And when I told them how I do it, they said that, oh, you don't even really get to use these abilities. And to be fair, in dungeons you don't, because it's just so potent skills that you don't need them. But then in raid, if you put all those skills on top of each other, they will be very big, nice shields. Okay, for this one, I could actually use arm's length to not get knocked away, but I decided to keep it for the first one. That gives Tancred some extra mitigation. Faint. Yeah, I was thinking to use True North there, but because I was forced on the side of the mob anyway, I just used my side attack. Okay. And if you wanted to really keep uptime, if you are with a scholar or a sage, then actually you could ignore that mechanics where you need to go into the bubbles, because I will use arm's length now and just keep doing. So a sage or a scholar can easily heal that mechanics, and then you don't need to go into the bubbles. But of course don't do that deciding as a DPS that I'm not going to go into the bubble because the healer will heal it. I'm just saying that I've seen healers say it, that ignore the mechanics, I will heal it. And that's actually quite nice. But we are doing this properly now. Since I already traumatized Graha enough by pulling double for tank hit, so I don't want to make him heal me unnecessarily. You will notice that there are a few duties when there are like uptime strats or other funny things you can do to keep damaging and just ignore mechanics which would otherwise be complicated. sometimes it's kind of fun to do those. So in a dungeon like this, as a healer, I don't have to do a lot, unless the tank is like very much not using the mitigations. I don't have to heal a lot. So probably if I saw that the group was up for it, so they knew what they were doing and not newbies who would get confused, I would tell them to just keep damaging and skip that mechanics. But if I see someone watching cutscene, then I try to not even greed that much and take accidental damage. I'm trying then to do everything by the book and show them the mechanics a little bit ahead of time if I can. What, guys? Seriously? I was the only one who was looking away from this? This is getting clipped, guys. You are going on YouTube. So I was the only one who actually did the mechanics and looked away from the boss, and these NPCs who are supposed to be good at their job, they all got paralyzed. Ah, dear me. And yeah, I forgot to use my food after the pack, so now I did. Thank you. Be nice and pull them into the puddle, please. Okay, that guy got slower as well. Good. And like he's standing on the edge of the puddle, but you can see the purple thing underneath him, so he got this slow from the ninja puddle, which is good. I think in every expansion there was a dungeon where I died a lot when I did it for the first time, because there was a mechanics in it what I just didn't understand at first. In Shadowbringers, that was Amarok. I think I wiped like 3 times on the last boss and I felt so bad for my party. I was healer. And in this one, it was actually this dungeon with this boss. Tancred, now we are waiting a little bit because I'm waiting on my cooldown. Okay, now we can pull it. I want to use my big buff. Gone. And it wasn't even this mechanics with the various signs here, but a later one. So yeah, when I had to fight this guy for the first time, I was not happy. Okay, I will use arm's length here, because I don't want to knock away, and I will just keep up time. It was this mechanics which we are doing now, because I had my camera done like this and I didn't see where the attacks were coming from. But here you actually have to look up at the sky and you will see the little balls there which will come down, and the pattern is actually always the same. So if you've done the dungeon a few times, you will know ahead where you need to run. But when I did this for the first time, it was absolutely beyond me what was happening here. And I misclicked. Damn. Misclicked again, so I have a bunny on my head. Okay, is this going to be melee friendly or not? Oh, it is actually. Okay, so that pattern what we did there was perfectly fine. Tanky did move closer, so he could get uptime on the boss, but actually he didn't have to move. Wherever he was standing at first, that was fine. We would have been absolutely fine there. But I think he had enough of this boss as well, and he just wants to see it dead. So do I. So after this mechanics, yeah, I'm going to use arm stance now. So I can keep up time. And time for a limit break. I was just looking at something. Don't know if I managed to get my recording or not, but I can always try and get the stream from this. Yeah, I was trying to do a flashback recording on my Elgato stuff, but I don't think I managed. So I will just get a few clips from the stream, because actually this is a quite nice dungeon to make a guide on with some mechanics, because we managed to get some good footage with the NPCs. So I might just go through the stream and see what I can make for you guys from this. Okay, how are our NPCs doing? Graha is ready for the next dungeon, the others are not quite yet. But anyway, I said that this will be the last dungeon, so we will do a few roulettes. Okay, not many people around from my FC, so I will just go for it, I think. Because look at this tiny bit is missing from my Astro. So let's sign up for a trial and pray that we get something smaller, because if we get some recent ones then people might die, because I'm not a good Astro. Okay, what is it going to be? Any bets? Okay, this is fine. I think I can manage to hear Mugurmog. I just threw some cards out randomly. A very quick healing lesson. You see that you are going to get damage, then you can start casting your heal. Especially if you are a regen healer and you can't mitigate the damage ahead of time, then the best thing is what you can do is to cast the heal when the mob is casting the damage, so you are ready with your heals. Okay, Samurai is still getting the melee card, but now I will give the machinist my other card. I don't know what they were thinking when they made this fight. Seriously, it's such a surreal experience, and they changed this since then. But the original one, oh my! You should have seen that if you haven't. To be fair, this new one is more straightforward for new players, so it's easier to figure out what you have to do. The original one, that was like, I have no idea what's happening. Well, that's a tank stack marker. It was just for the 2 tanks. And level 100. Okay, let's give a comp to my co-healer. And I don't need all this loot. Got a comp! Nice! Okay. Is there any other quick roulette I can help with? anything interesting in Party Finder. Someone is doing the dungeon we just did for these are all very high level stuff. Nothing easy where we can help people. Usually if I see like a lost spot, I will just jump in and try to help people, but okay, let's do one more raid. Maybe I will level up on my warrior with that normal raid. Oh! Okay. So, this is an interesting one. We'll let the paladin go first. But there will be a point where I will have to tank as well. We want to avoid those spiky things. Okay, we have 2 people here, that's good. That was a 2 people stack marker. Again, something what not everyone necessarily knows. This will be a knockback. They got the 2 people. I was rushing there as a tank because I didn't really see any of the DPS move. But they got it fine. Avoid the balls. Okay, I think this will be my turn. No, Paladin is still taking Ifrit. Okay. We'll take one of them when they are appearing. Boss. Switch on my 10 stance now because the other boss can come any minute. This is one of those fun raids I like to get because it's it's never easy. Someone is always messing up things. Often that's me. Okay, he's taking Garuda, so I'm taking Ifrit. He's going to knock this one away. I didn't see that other coming. Okay, now it's going to be two of them. And I will let the paladin take it because they were doing the main tanking, so they deserve the big boss at the end. See, I would have loved to main tank this one, but he was quicker putting the aggro out, so I'm not going to fight him. A lot of times the tanks are doing like a sausage fest and pulling the aggro from each other. It's not nice with the other tank, and it's also making the healer's job harder. And it's also making the DPS job harder, because if you are spinning the boss between the two of you, then the poor melee DPS doesn't know where's the back of it. Oh my. Oh, there's the safe spot. Okay. I totally didn't see that safe spot there from World of Fire. And see, this is where we got so many AoEs under each other. If we were spread out, then the whole arena would have been covered. This is what I was talking about at the dungeon, that don't spread these AoEs. This healer is nice, was coming to stack, but I will give one to my core tank because it was a really nice and good core tank. Okay, no music, so I don't need any of these things. I will just leave. Oh, catacomb, maybe from my core tank. Okay, and that is pretty much to the end of our stream for today. Oh, I didn't level up. Oh well. I will level up next time. And I'm definitely losing my voice after 2 hours of talking. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for joining, and hopefully I will see you next week. Bye bye.